Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Media Live broadcast of the Zwift Classics, the last race in this season of Classics, the London International Circuit Race, 5.5 kilometers on what was a part of the women's tour. As a part of the every year we had the PRL London, actually, that they had actually women's tour race on this specifically. Pretty awesome course, going by some of the most iconic parts of London. It's been used so many times, Anna. I think you're fairly familiar with this course with how much Zwifting that you've done.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this course. I can't say it's one that I would gravitate to. I do remember a while ago having a good little battle with Jackie Godby. She got away on the last lap in a huge solo TT effort, but it's a course that if you kind of you got to watch out for the scary areas up the one little climb where people can get away, and then we've got sprint points every lap, and I think that's going to whittle down the field. You can see here in the map it's 38.28 kilometers here. We've got 6 laps for category 1, and then down to 5 laps for the C3 class. So, yeah, only the sprint points on this one, no climb points. So, yeah, it's going to really detonate those legs.
Yeah, it definitely is. And there is a little bit of a lead in, as you can see. And then from there, it's 6 laps, with the initial climb being the one that first takes you up to the Strand. And the first time you see it, Trafalgar Square. And then after that, you do head on over to the Mall, and you're continually doing laps past Buckingham Palace and through Trafalgar Square. Each time you are going to be hitting that Whitehall climb, though. That is the main place. You do have a solid gradient through there. We might see some punching of the watts through there. I did say in the World of Zwift that, a lot of times you can follow that 30-second kick or so, up through Whitehall, past the statues and into the square. I think that going past St. James Place Park, that's really, there's a little bump there on the back end. We'll highlight it on each lap. We'll see if anybody takes that advice that was given out there, if they did watch the World of Zwift. But in my opinion, that kick from right there, it's almost kind of uphill from there all the way until you hit the Strand, all the way to almost you hit that turn, 180-degree turn by that 1 kilometer to go banner. That's enough of an effort, I think. And a lot of times people aren't expecting you maybe to punch orange numbers through there where you might be able to make something happen. But from what I've seen, this course usually comes down to a sprinter's delight. You almost always have a hard charging pack to that finish line.
We do, don't forget, have the ghost power up in tonight's racing. So they've actually got different probabilities. You've got 50% chance of getting aero, so that's good for the sprinters, 30% chance of getting the drafting power up, and then only a 20% chance of the ghost. But that is always a super fun one. I remember seeing some great finishes on the Champs-Elysees course with people using a ghost and actually managing to get away. So that'll be cool to see at the end. I think another thing to watch out for tonight is I'm actually on the NZ Bro Discord chat. And I think there'll be a lot of, I know this is an individual competition, but a lot of the teams coming together and sort of practicing something tonight in prep for ZRL, which starts in about a month's time.
Huh. Interesting. We have our commentary team inside one of the. We should just have access to all of the Discords, and then we would just know everything. Then we wouldn't even have to guess any longer about what was going on. And then I don't know if they would like that very much. Then it would be, oh, you got inside knowledge to the team car. Although, if you do watch in real life cycling, you do get plenty of little insights to the team cars. And I was talking to so and so from this team, so it's all good. We're not laying too much information here. All right, here we go. We're in with the C1s. Speaking of NZ Bro, plenty of them. They're heading for the first time. A little bit of a lead in, but the first little bit of a climb. As you can see, there is one of those ghost power-ups, actually, invisibility, being thrown down. Moving forward very quickly, actually. Is that mashed potato, or is that, did you say Eurus here? The mashed potato, it looks like, from the Evo team. Mark's there as well. Emberless, 3 Evo riders all giving a go here.
He's got the new wheels too. He's got the brand new disc wheels that have come out that I cannot afford yet, which is devastating. But that
how can you not afford these? What is happening
ridiculous.
here?
I know. I spent all my drops on all the new Pinarellos and the S-Works Atheos, and then the light wheels. I finally leveled up to get the zips, and then they got replaced by these. So now I'm riding my little heart out to get these ones.
Mashed Potato giving us a show with the new DT Swiss and the new 2020 Cervelo S5. Fastest setup in game. Currently saves you up to 11 seconds, actually, over, I believe that is the Zwift original bike, if I'm not incorrect, but it is a monster of a bike when it comes to the flats. Mashed Potato not going anywhere with the new setups. It doesn't look like any drops are going to buy him any watts, though, at this point, as he gets pushed backwards into the pack. Haynes now to the front, it looks like, with a little bit of a punch around these corners. Now, again, if you did not know, these 180-degree turns do slow down your avatars, and you can punch out of the corners, kind of like in real-life racing in a corner or a crit course. You can punch it out at each one of these corners and get a little bit of a gap. Doesn't look like anybody's going to be taking too much of advantage of that, as it does slow right on down. Now, this is not the 1 kilometer to go from here. We are racing a total, did it say 36.6, I think it was? And we're only 5K in, but we will go under that 1K to go banner each and every lap. It will only be 1K to go on lap number 6, as we are in the lead-in watching the Mashed Potato at this point. You know, I think Mashed Potato is a big favorite out there today if it does come down to on a final sprint, Anna.
Absolutely. I was actually just searching through Zwift Power Live to see if Daz Carter was there because I couldn't see his name on the right-hand side. But yes, he is there in this main pack. I think he's just making his way up now. He's usually in that sort of yellow kit with the orange and green stripe. He's also got that really fast wheel set up. He's played a little bit of a ghost. If that's who I think it is. Is that Daz Carter that's just moved off the front? It
Most definitely
is. I could
is.
spot him. There we go. And he's got his Zwift Racing League winning champion helmet on. Great fast setup. And I think, do you know what? I might go an early bet on Daz Carter for tonight's last race.
It's not a bad bet, that's for sure. Daz Carter absolutely dominating the last race last week here. We'll see if we can do that again. But Mashed Potato, I have a feeling, is going to be just following each and every lap as best as he possibly can to sit in the wheels, not have to put out too much of an effort, even though, you know, it surprised me a little bit that he went off the front there because he's the kind of rider that we saw a couple weeks back. I think it was Seaside Sprint where he didn't really stick his nose in the wind very much. Only early on, actually, again in that race. So we'll see if he plays a similar tactic, saves up some energy, and tries to make sure that he can take down that final sprint. Now, as far as the other riders that are out here, we did see a lot of no characters coming through a moment ago, which essentially means I do not have the language on inside of my game to be able to relay those characters, which tells me the Japanese riders are communicating a lot in the game right now about what they're up to, and perhaps communicating about how to win the race out there today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of funny because you can see it in Companion app usually if you've got Companion app open. If it comes through blank, then you can kind of go in and check out what someone's riding. Just FYI for all the races out there. I am looking as well that we've got one female race race. It's Fiona Gallagher from NZ Bro, who we were talking about last week, picked up by Team Riot, but she was just in that group, and then on the sprint, she has unfortunately dropped off the pace and is 25 seconds back, so it's going to be a long solo TT effort for her. We might actually, there she is, we can just see her coming through the other side, so disappointing, but great that she's picked up and racing with the guys again this week. I love to see the women do that, but this is a kind of course where I know last week we had Bologna, and if you're a lighter female rider, you can kind of stick it up in that front group, but on a course like this where it's flat, it really does come down to raw watts.
Yeah, it does look like. Now, that is a good pickup, though, that you did bring on over, I believe, to Riot Racing in ZRL, if I'm not incorrect. Is that right, Anna?
Yeah, that's right. So we'll see her out of the black NZ Bro kit, or so she might race for both teams. As long as the NZ Bro races after the Riot race, I'm happy with that.
Big day, big ask, but most likely be able to make it happen. Fiona seems like a real strong rider here. Everything Grupo Compacto, it looks like. We'll see if they do make any moves as they head through past Buckingham Palace and back over toward the St. James Park here in just a moment. As far as the teams that are well represented, let's take a look at the jerseys that we are able to see as we get a look down at the Peloton here. Team Evo, lots of pink jerseys hanging out. I am seeing a little bit of innovation with the green alien head there as well. NZ Bro, plenty of black kits out there with the NZ Bro next to the name. So they may be the most represented team out here right now. BL13 with only Daz Carter, it looks like. I'm wondering, this white and slightly striped here, is this TMR? That's what it's going to be here. with the map kit backwards. And I think TMR have some representation from the Japanese riders out here. So be on the watch out for them. Arrow does have, it looks like, at least one rider with Liam White. We'll see what he can pull off here in real life domestic pro, also coming out of Australia. So that is definitely going to be a threat. Liam tends to be a really good sprinter, I believe, Anna, too. So, he may not have been quite as much of a threat in some of the other races we've had so far, but on a course like this, I'd be watching out for Liam as well. He's somebody up front I counted out, but right now, if I think back to my memory correctly, he's had a wicked sprint on Zwift before.
There's a few riders here I think might come out of the woodwork today, just with really good 15-second power numbers. I'm also looking at David Amado riding for Badass Fuel, which I've actually never heard of before. And like we mentioned, Daz Carter, you got Mashed Potato, but Mashed Potato might have a run from his runny. Just with also Suzuka T from TMR. And that David Amado. So there's about 4 really solid sprinters there with watts over the 1,000 mark, which is kind of the benchmark I use to tell if someone's going to be a pretty decent sprinter. And in this course, you can sit in a bit, although they are hitting this climb where this is the part when you're not a sprinter, this is a great place to start launching an attack because you're approximately 12 to 1,500 meters from the end. You can sort of get away a little bit. And we can see here Cridland, who I remember from last week, he practiced his strategies early in the race, and it looks like he's doing that now. He's really pushing those watts up hard, really sprinting up this climb. I think he just wants to see who's got the climbing legs and who could stick with him in the later laps.
A little bit of separation actually coming from Cridland. For a moment there, I did see it outside of that 5-meter gap. We're going to have to wait for it to re-up there. 27 meters now. If he gets outside of 50 meters, it'll be about 3 to 5 seconds. It does look like more at 3.1 watts per kilogram. This is the frustrating part about making a break at this section is because a lot of times you don't really see the rewards for any kind of pretty serious effort. At this point, you are suffering pretty dang hard, actually, right about now where Cridland's at. And usually from what I see from riders, they kind of give up the ghost right around this point because they can't get more than a few seconds. Cridland, though, seems fairly committed to this. If he comes around the corner, gives a little punch, and gets us outside of 5 seconds, I can see this being a threat for somebody to come across to him. The question is going to be whether or not anybody punches and pulls the pack. Flynn doing exactly that, it looks like. Cridland staying out to 3 seconds here. See if he goes over the top of that, though. If he gets out to 10, I would be pretty happy I would be happy if I were him if he can get it up to 10. Because right here is where he needs to open up the seconds, though, because the downhill, which is the sprint section, is actually a downhill section once you do hit the mall. As you head under that Admiralty Arch, that section from there on out until you hit probably the halfway point of that red carpet, essentially, it's going to be nothing but downhill, and the pack really can speed up. Suzuki doing exactly what he should, not pull that pack across, and just gets the gap immediately here. Oh, Flynn, though, exactly the opposite. Just keeps on going to the front with these high watts, which is going to completely shut anything down. The thing with Flynn is he does not have any team members that I know of here, and he's done this a few times in the past couple of weeks. It seems like this is a rider who just is really likes to keep things together a little bit rather than getting some separation. He is getting separation here, though, so maybe making me my words and saying, nah, Nathan, I'm going to go across, and this looks like a threatening break, perhaps.
I think what's going to happen with this break as they're approaching the end of this lap is I think we had Cridland try and go off the front and get the first across line, but unfortunately it looks like Suzuka's going to take that from him. And we've got some fast finishes here from Paddy O'Flynn from Ireland here coming through. I think who's going to take this first across line, but a nice little attack here from Suzuka as well. Suzuka into that really aero position. Suzuka took that. I think that'll be the fastest time segment as well, unless the bunch comes in a big sprint at the end. But yeah, that was good. And I think what we're going to notice here, Nathan, is we've already got 3 seconds back to the likes of Mashed Potato. I think they'll be fine. I think there'll be some people who are really struggling on the back of that chase pack.
Yeah, I think you're correct about that. The group is going to come all back together. The sprint did end up shutting things down pretty well here. Cridland probably a little bit frustrated here. Riders here just trying to hang on, as you can see. Wiggly Zastro here coming out of Germany does have a solid setup here, but that's not going to keep the speed's high enough if he keeps on lowering down. Now getting back on terms there, 170 beats per minute, a little bit of a struggle, but still Fiona the only one off the back at this point. Cridland letting us know it's all good, actually. Giving us a little bit of a flex even in game, like, nah, we're good. That was just testing the legs. Next lap, we've got this, no problem. I really do hope to see that they make this a race of attrition and they do start to ramp things up each and every lap like that, though. It'd make things a little bit more exciting and maybe not just Grupo Compacto all the way to the line.
Do you know what I'm loving actually, Nathan, is there are very few Tron bikes. And I know that there's been some new bikes coming out over the last sort of game updates in the last month, but this is good. So like this is what I've been wanting for quite some time. It's just people actually having to pick bikes and wheel sets for the types of strategies they want to run. So yeah, loving this already. It's mixed things up a bit. People are running some cool get ups, and it's for me, it makes the game a bit more interesting because I think sometimes you can look into specific choices and go, oh, I think they're going to go for a solo breakaway up that climb. Or no, they're definitely like hanging in for that bunch sprint. So little call out there to thank the community for mixing it up a little, because although I like the shiny Tron, it does, I don't know, gets a little
Dominate. It can dominate a little bit.
Yeah.
And you can definitely know who's got the bling, right? Like who's
yeah.
showing up in the Lamborghinis, and you've got all of these S5 now at this point, right? With the deep dish. I mean, that's a lot of drops. We're talking, I believe that's well over 1 million drops, isn't it, for the whole setup?
Oh, it's like 1,500 and 1.5 mil.
Yeah, 1.5 mil. That's what I thought. Ooh, just for the wheels, 1.5. And then I think it's 800,000 for the bike. So that setup alone, wow. I mean, you're looking at 22.3 million drops for that setup. So you can see who's got Zwift, 1%ers here hanging out right now.
I know.
So what's the distance coming from Bill the Gray is letting us ask a question over at Twitch. Appreciate you hanging out over at Twitch, Bill, and we'll give you an answer for that right now. London Classic, it is looking at 36 kilometers in total for the 6 laps of this race. In the C3s, they'll be doing one lap less than that, so you're looking at about 31 kilometers for the C3s that we'll be jumping in for just a moment. It does look like there is a little bit of somebody taking my advice. He was watching the World of Zwift, and it's going to be Daz Carter who went on the attack right past St. James Place on that little bit of a bump. He gets that immediate gap. Look at that, 10-meter
Nice.
Stevenson trying to go across to him as well. Now, this kind of a kick with those orange numbers, anybody who was waiting to follow wheels up Whitehall is going to be absolutely over threshold, looking to hang on. And if they attack again over the type of Whitehall, I think we're going to see a split here.
Oh, yeah, completely. When you see Des Carter going off the front, he's no joke. You got Stevenson there from Alien Inc. He dropped his drafting power up and got on pretty quickly. But I also saw red numbers from Mashed Potato. He saw that as an absolute threat. So you've got Des Carter, who's marked by the rest of the group, but 3 seconds now. I don't think the pack's going to have trouble catching us up, but you can already see those breaks. I think that's where the danger is that little break kind of there. Although Mashed Potato is saying, just let them dangle at the front, which is true. But if he pushed up with this group, then they'll have a good split.
Yeah, and as you can see, I'm not sure that this group behind has the firepower amongst everybody. You'll get people going across here, but some of them are going to be looking just to hang on. If they can really press the pace at this point, get the speed super high. Now, it looks like a few of these riders, though, especially Evo, are actually working together, and I would not be surprised if they're looking to set up Mashed Potato. They're saying, let them dangle. That tells me that perhaps they've got a plan to send a workhorse to the front and just keep things within striking distance and not allow things get too out of hand when it comes to the gap.
Yeah, I think, like I said at the start of the show, even though the Classics is just an individual competition, because we're so close to the Zwift Racing League, people will be wanting to go on, race together, have Discord open.
Look at Cridlin's comment.
Look
at Cridlin's comment. Cridlin's like, no. Evo, you've got Mashed Potato. It's on you. And then we also have the Japanese riders who are, we don't know what they're saying. And the reality here may be that they might work together to bring this back, but that's 7 seconds. This is a serious threat.
Yeah.
If they they cannot look at each other, though. They have to fully commit now. Over threshold on the front, just under sitting in. Carter now up to 7.4. It looked like to me like a little bit too much sitting in. But look at this here. David Amato saying that he'll work with anyone to get them later. I don't think this is coming back later if this gets out to 30 plus seconds.
Yeah, 8 seconds now though with a really big chase pack. I think they're not safe yet. Like I said, I think the magic number is always around 15 seconds. I think when it gets to there, that chase pack probably won't be able to get back on. And how split up is the chase pack? Because there was a definite break there for a while, but it looks like it's kind of split to around 15 riders in that second chase group on the road, and then a little group back where some stragglers have unfortunately dropped off. So the smaller this chase group is, the less likely they are to get back on. But we see a concerted effort here from Liam White, from Aero, the professional rider, and Suzuka as well, getting onto the front and wanting to close this down. So I think they might close it down as they approach the sprint banner. If they don't, though, that's real danger time heading into lap 3.
Yeah, the question is whether or not this brings it back within striking distance and then they close that little bit of extra they don't get in the sprint. If though it does not do that, this sprint is going to cause a lot of people to go well into the point that they need to just sit in and get a little bit of a reprieve. And if they hold on to like 3 seconds after this or so, that will go out exponentially after this sprint. The question is whether or not this sprint does bring it within that striking distance that they just close it down the rest of the way. Suzuka, I think, took that down over Sean B. Carter and the rest here looking to try and hang on to the gap. It's up to 62 kilometers per hour. We are seeing 55 still. Nim from DBR is just like, hang on, boys. And they continue to just let a gap go to his wheel, actually. They need to hold on and work together instead of wasting these matches right now. You know, and it's not up to Nim, in my opinion, to go slower. He hasn't been pushing orange numbers. It's up to the riders behind to get a good draft at this point.
Oh, Mashed Potato is just saying, relax, everyone, trust the pack. They're 5 seconds back. I mean, 4 seconds now. They're going to catch up. I think that front group, maybe they're just going for some first across line points on that lap, which is what we are seeing a little bit with that early attack from Cridland on lap 1. That chase pack, they've got them inside. I think they will for sure catch up, probably before we get to that next climb. But I'm interested to see because it's going to take a lot of energy out of some of these legs. And I think up that next climb, we may see some bigger splits coming through this pack, which is what we want to see. What I hate on this course, if it's just a huge pack rolling around each lap and then a sprint only for that start-finish banner. But yeah, there are some people here who want to really race.
I am seeing a ton of comments suddenly in the YouTube channel. I'm absolutely loving this. Suzuka has one of the biggest fan bases I think I've ever seen when it comes to Zwift racing here. As Rita Muro coming on through here, another Japanese rider it looks like coming on through. Kazu Yoshi here, Umura now also coming in with a comment. Suzuka has got this huge fan base, absolutely loving the kicks coming from him. Now, as I said, I thought it would calm down after that initial sprint if they held on to 3 seconds here, Anna, that if they continued, but they need 5 to 6 on the front, though. They cannot come underneath that, in my opinion. At this level, it's got to be up there. Carter's doing exactly that, and it needs to be at the same level that you would win an A category or an espresso category team time trial. That's what they're going to need to do here on the front. 350 plus, in my opinion, when it comes to the wattage. If they're dropping underneath 47, 46 kilometers per hour too much, they're getting back into the fold.
Yeah, 7 seconds on. Daz Carter was pushing some serious watts there behind. Down to 6 again. I mean, this is just, I think it's all going to come down to when they hit this next climb again. If one of these 3 can really push pace off the front, the pack won't have the benefit of that sort of big draft. And I got extended. It's gone back out to 8 again. I mean, that went from 8.76 and then went back to a 7.8. Yeah, I don't know. Mashed Potato, he's telling them all to relax, but I think they should be a little bit nervous because if this split is around 8 seconds on that climb, I don't know. These 3 could stay away and they're working really well together.
We're hearing from Bill the Gray. NZ Bro will take it all. Recognize most of those names from Bill the Gray here. Still plenty for Suzuka coming on through. Even more chat coming in for Suzuka. I'm loving all of the... Yeah, I mean, this is a serious fan club here. Getting all of the popularity. So he better deliver out here today because it's out to 9 seconds. Somebody needs to go across now. This is the section I was talking about. Only at 4.4 there, in my opinion, you got to push again. Orange numbers at each section that it matters the most. I understand consistency. The way that I go after these kind of breaks, though, is I will always be in that, like, let's be around 5 to 5.5 watts per kilogram in an A category race like this. And then when you hit these sections of the course, you go up into 6 to 8 to match what you know the pack may be doing in order to gain the most amount of speed, both in the uphill and on the downhill on the other side. It's still about speed in these races, and you get the most of it as you possibly can when you can. Stevenson now going to the front here, 5.3. The steady Eddie kind of a thing on the front, in my opinion, most likely is usually going to get caught because that pack is about to kick orange numbers here.
However, I'm just looking at the 20-minute power profiles of Nim, Stevenson, and Carter on the front. All of them have got 20-minute power of around 5 watts a kg. So these guys can not only hang with each other, but that's a decent power number that they could just hang with for 20 minutes. Whereas the pack, you're sort of looking more at around the 4.3 to 4.5. So that's why this group of 3 at the front is working so well together and kind of pulling ahead, is that they've just got that raw watts to hold for a long time, especially when you're led by the likes of Des Carter and Nim on the front here. I think these guys actually might be able to stay away. They look like they're just dropping off one of the riders just off the back. But yeah, I actually think this is looking good.
Stevenson now unable to hold on. It looks like Nim and Carter are actually waiting for him. I am extremely surprised by that. And they do not want to let Stevenson go. It looks like a little bit of communication going on here. I would not be surprised one bit if within the companion app, they're DMing each other right now saying, okay, hold on, get back on, don't worry about it. But that may be the death knell of that split, as that immediately brought it back underneath 5 seconds here. It might be time to throw in the towel. We'll see. This corner, I think, is going to tell it all.
Oh, don't throw in the towel. I love seeing this kind of thing. I just want to, I think if they can just get over that 10 to 15 second mark, these guys will be great. That pack behind, though, 4 seconds, and it's hovering around 4 and 5. We've got Marks there, and we had Platt on the front from NZ Bro, just kind of trying to catch them down. But yeah, Ghost power up being dropped there, which is I'd be wanting to pick up another one maybe at the start-finish line. But this pack looks really close from that angle. Looks like it's getting down to 3 seconds with Suzuka on the front, really going for it.
Yeah, Suzuka again. 413 watts. His fan base really pushing him on here at this point. We did see earlier in game in Mashed Potato We Trust. We'll see if he brings home the gravy, though, out here today, as this pack, it looks like, is bringing him back into the fold, though. Will there be a counterattack? We are hearing from Sam Mutton that Mashed Potato is his favorite. We're also seeing Grant Momack coming on through, letting us know that he's loving the break, making the flat races interesting. We could not agree more. Will there be another one after this sprint section? We're coming on through for our third sprint on the day. Who's going to take it down? It's been Suzuka last lap with a solid kick at the final sections before that banner here. Mashed Potato starting to ramp it up to 7.1. Not too sure he's interested, actually, in taking the sprint down. It's going to actually be Suzuka here now. 12.6 watts per kilogram, drafting power up, and coming from the middle of the pack, not gonna. Whoa, is right there.
Oh, that's close. Close.
I don't even know. I mean, David Amato here coming on through, solid kick, and he may have nipped it at the line, but Suzuka, I think, just barely had it there. We don't have a replay currently. I wish we did. We'll make sure we get one on the next lap for you.
Yeah, that's Amada, who I was mentioning on lap 1, has some really, really strong 15-second power numbers. So that could be someone to watch for the finish of today's race. I don't feel like we've mentioned his name that much in previous races. So I don't know if he's new to racing in the classics or they've just been a bit trickier with all the uphills. But yeah, definitely one to watch tonight. And also, unfortunate that break has come back together. One thing I would love to see coming through in upcoming, I don't know, the race league or more sort of the races on Zwift is an award each week for the most aggressive rider. Because I think that would really motivate people to do breakaways, to have something like that. If they could get a cool little new bit of in-game kit, I just think that would be rad.
That would be awesome if there was something awarded every single week. Now, who decides is the question. Is going to be the big one, right? And,
the commentators.
It's got to be, exactly. Now, I'm with you there. I am 100% with you there. Now, making that call is a whole nother situation. Maybe we could get somebody over at WTRL headquarters to help us out with being able to make that call, but we'll see what happens. Now, I'm just jumping in here with one of your buddies because we're in the C3s. And I definitely want to highlight the women's side of racing here as well. And Leighton here having a solid ride, hanging on actually with the lead group so far in this C3s at a solid 3.3 watts per hour, but at 176 beats per minute. And there actually was just a split at this 21K to go mark with Oliver and Zellweger going off the back. So it looks like Leighton is making her race right now, hanging on with the boys at the front.
Yeah, I mean, Britt Lytton would
Lytton,
love this
excuse me,
course. This
Lytton.
is Lytton. This is all about her. She loves the sort of the power courses. There's not too many hills. She doesn't love the climbs. And she's looking great there as well. She's dropped Anthea Oliver, a Kiwi rider, both triathletes actually. Britt's from Topor and Anthea's from Wellington. So they go head to head actually in real life as well. So Britt will be stoked she's made this front group, because unfortunately with this group this size and then Anthea in a group of about 3, they're just going to have huge time gaps now coming up. You can just see them crossing around that corner at the back. But yeah, they'll be hemorrhaging time now off the back. And yeah, good job, Britt. Very, very impressed by that ride already.
Oliver, though, I mean, when it comes to style points, okay, she may be off the back here, but she is definitely part of the 1% crowd here. She's dropped 2.5-ish million drops or whatever it may be for her setup. She's got the DT Zwift and the Cervelo S5 2020. We go back up to Lytton here. It looks like she's got almost the setup, is running some envies now, as she maybe a little envious of the wheels behind. Not going to be enough, though, to keep Oliver on her wheel at this point. We do have a sprint opening up here. We are focusing on the women here, but it does look like at the front it is going to be an Edzen Bro rider. NZ Dreads making it happen. Why does
nice.
Does he have dreads in game? He better have dreads in game. Yeah, he does with that name.
What? I actually know this guy. So my husband rode the length of New Zealand at the beginning of the year, and he rode part of the length of New Zealand with this guy NZ Dreads. His name's Brooke. He's from very, very far down south, and he looked after my husband when he arrived in a very bad state at the end of the race, and I think got him some bluff oysters.
Well, oysters, I mean, that's got to be exactly what the coach is prescribed. Like, I've always heard that oysters, not a recovery drink, are what you need. That story is just way too specific to in any way be made up at all. Like, that is like the most specific story that could possibly be coming out. So, Dreads, we thank you for keeping Mr. Russell alive.
Yeah, he was actually messaging my husband last night saying, hey, you should come join NZ Bro and start doing some racing with us. And then I wake up this morning, my husband's down doing an FTP test. So looks like he may be getting on the start line soon as well. Yeah.
Nice. Absolutely awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, we've got a ton of comments actually coming in through here right now for this race. This has got to be the most hype I've almost ever seen in a race situation, actually, for a couple of different individuals. It does look like there's a rider being caught, actually, Highway.
Stu.
Bro. Yeah, Stu's being caught here, it looks like. No interference, though. Good on him, as he is a lapped rider. So that was not a rider off the front. I mean, this is Suzuka is Suzuyaki Sprinter. We're hearing from Umura here. I just want to shout out, though, all the other chatters here that are absolutely loving it here, the coverage. This is going to be Bill DeGray coming on in. Coda's letting us know that they are from all over the world here. Many of them in Japan, but also in New York. Loving to hear. We're hearing also from It's Yaza saying, cheering on Kev Opal. And as well as Joey Zwift Racing coming on in, cheering on Captain David and Carter. So plenty. Actually, and that's every one of our sprinters so far, I think. Except for Amato, I believe. Even Amato got a shout out there. So we definitely have chat know exactly who to be watching out for, it seems.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. People are going nuts tonight. I think maybe it's just because it's that kind of course, everyone kind of can stay together a bit. Last week ends up with 1s and 2s on that climb. It just gets a bit devastating. But yeah, there's a lot of support for the riders we're giving coverage to, which is really cool to see. Even from Uganda, which was pretty awesome for mashed potato. That's probably the most far away country from New Zealand I could think of that's commenting on this New Zealand time zone race.
Things calmed right on down in both of the races here at this point. Dreads hanging in. There was the drop that we saw from the pack last lap where Oliver Group is trying to bring things back a little bit, but with 25 seconds and only 4 riders, not sure that's going to be happening. So it is going to be 23 making this lead pack. Back in with the C1s here at this point now, as it is going to be the next sprint, and there is a rider going off the front. You said it, Anna, that it may be the invisibility power-up, and Gamna, coming from EMU, is making it happen. Is he going to hold on? There's the 200 meters to go mark, and it looks like he's got him. 60
he's
watts
got
per
it.
kilogram. Suzuka's coming through.
Oh, whoa.
It's not going to happen, though. It's Suzuka for second, David Amato for third. Nice little kick, and that was the invisibility power-up that made it happen.
I'm looking at Amato and Suzuka, actually. I know often we go Carter and mashed potato for those sprints, but wow, Suzuka and Amato went right into that deep sprint position as aero as possible. I mean, they didn't get the first across line on that one, but I think they're just trying to get their timing right. So, yeah, they're looking awesome for the win tonight.
Going backwards now pretty quickly, as it seems. And Joey Zwift Racing. Shout out to the announcer, the handsome and beautiful lady. Appreciate it, Joey Zwift. Always coming with the comments. These guys are great. Yeah, Gamna going backwards just a tad. 26th place currently now, as we do have, I think that's how many riders have made this lead group. They're about to do this turnaround here. On the front again, it looks like we do have NZ Bro with Sealand actually making, just controlling the pack, it looks like. A little bit of a jostling around. And when you do see the avatars do a quick right to left like that, usually means they're getting pushed out of the way by a rider coming up from behind with a little bit more wattage, or double wheeling them a little bit. A lot of times that is fighting for position. If you didn't know, the new pack dynamics do cause, that were introduced a couple of months ago, they do cause riders to fight for position a little bit more. And eventually, if you're fighting for position long enough and one rider takes it from you, you do get kind of pushed out of the wheel there, as you are seeing some of these riders get moved around on course.
That's a bigger effect than I've seen before. We've seen a lot of this came in a couple of months ago, but I'm seeing a much bigger effect here with those riders coming off to the right-hand side than I have previously. So I don't know if things have been tinkered with a bit. And anyone who's watching who is going to be racing the Zwift Racing League, which has, I think, just one team time trial this time around, be really careful with that draft in a team time trial, because you start to push your own riders off to the right-hand side. They get stuck in the draft and you lose a draft. They get stuck in the wind and you lose a draft. So it's huge impact on the team time trial. But I'm just seeing it just looks different. That pack dynamic looks a little bit different tonight.
I'd have to agree with you. It definitely has a little bit different movement to it. I wonder if it has something to do with this course specifically. I do remember that this course specifically did interact with it just a little bit differently. We're going to have 2 laps
We're getting
to go
comments
here
coming in. Yeah, comments coming in saying, yes, it is more prevalent on the London route that the draft dynamics splinters the pack more, but even more evident since the most recent update last week.
Interesting. I'm going to have to see if I can get some more information on that and get a little bit of Zwift insider knowledge and see what's happening here. I do remember racing on this course specifically and having something very similar happen with the dynamics chasing. Now, it does look like we do have an attack here from Nim, looking to try and make things happen again. Quick little 8 watts per kilogram. He does have the over 5 meter gap now. Stevenson looking to go across. Burles looking to cover as well. Doesn't look like Carter's quite as interested. No, here comes Carter. 10 watts per kilogram on the move. And Mashed Potato's not saying this is not a threat again. With only, you're looking at only a few kilometers to go here at this point. 2 laps to go. I think that they're saying, okay, it is time to start splitting this pack up a little bit. Anything that goes at this point, there might not be as many matches in the pack to bring this back. It's time to put the burn on.
Yeah, and I saw a little baiting there from Cridland, who said, yawn, come on. And so I think that baited people to attack off the front, because within 10 seconds, these couple of riders have gone off the front. And that's good for Cridland, because they'll burn their legs. Looks like the rest of the pack will catch up. But yeah, that's it has mix things up a little bit. And I think just now that people are mentioning this draft dynamic, you can kind of see the impact. There's 2 riders dangling off the back, then another 3 just off this chase group, a couple coming in. This was a danger move. You can kind of always tell that when you see Mashed Potato taking it seriously and not sitting in the pack anymore.
Cridlin to the front, 8.3 watts per kilogram. Now 10 watts per kilogram from Cridlin. Cridlin really wants a split now at this point. Carter directly on his wheel, as you can see, just kind of locked on, glued to the wheel of Cridlin, not doing anything more than he needs to follow the wheel. Now the question is, will there be continuance over the top? The real speed comes when the gradient goes down, and that's exactly what's happening here. No, backing off actually, and that is not going to benefit this attack actually. As soon as you see it go under that 3, and it flattens out, they've shut it down. They think they are going to be caught. It would have had to have been orange numbers over the top and more of a 50 to 55 kilometer per hour through this section. That was what would open things up. And now that it's shut down, you can see it. Nobody's going to go over 45, really. And this little bit of attack from Stevenson, that's not going anywhere. Way too many bodies here to get any distance. It's going to be a group sprint for this next points section, and then we'll have 1 to go.
Yeah, and I think in this last lap, it's going to get pretty interesting because that's where it gets a little bit, I always say like tetchy. People are looking at each other in the virtual world, of course, but when is someone going to attack? There've been a few little sort of ghost attacks from people. Cridlin trying it up that climb. We've got the pure sprinters like Mashed Potato, Des Carter, who might just want to keep things together and have a good little sprint to the end. We can see about 3-4 riders dropped off the back during that.
Yeah, Ganda
action.
won the sprint actually last lap too, so he suffered for it here, Anna.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think they will get back on just because is there even a split, someone else attacking off the front of that group? Looks like there's 2 riders.
It looks like a rider in black.
Moving
Probably
off
an
the
NZ
front.
Bro.
Yeah, probably.
Let's see if it's NZ Bro here. And it is. No, it's Nim. It's Nim.
Again, loving this riding from Nim.
And I think Nim does not want to sprint. Are you seeing anything about his watts per kilogram, Anna? You know, perhaps his sprint is not quite as strong as the others, and he just doesn't want this to be. The Danish rider might want this to split. That seems to be his efforts out here today.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Michael Nim racing for DBR, has a relatively low 15-second power of 813 watts, but a 20-minute power of 5 watts a kg. So, yeah, this is someone who wants to just push off the front now, race of attrition, make everyone hurt behind. Looks like Suzuka, the fan fave, jumped on him, which is dangerous for that group behind because Suzuka could definitely be motivated to take this out for the win and work together with Nim here on the front.
It's really whittled down behind too, and with how small that pack is, a sprint like this could completely sprinter this group. Nim actually, I think he nipped that from Suzuka. I'm not positive. Is there going to be continuance? It's going to be the question because I don't think there's a lot of energy left in that group behind. People could jump across right now if any of them are motivated and take a 1-lap flyer. That would be my plan at this point. This is the most crucial section or time between here and St. James. Whether or not they make some moves, they might calm down until that moment. Maybe wait to kind of reserve up as much energy as possible. The other question may be maybe they're all just waiting for that bunch sprint now. Not a lot of bodies left here. It is starting to get to that point that you could make some sort of moves without having to worry about the pack quite as much.
I've got to say, the wily old fox of Mashed Potato, though, how often have you seen Mashed Potato off the front? It reminds me back at the Innsbruck race when they went on the Innsbruck ring course. You just never saw him until the end. Although Des Carter, I think, took a little early attack on that course and took the win. But yeah, always worry about Mashed Potato. He's got huge sprint numbers and he never, ever goes for the intermediary points. Always seems to put all the eggs in the one basket of finish line. And it seems like that's what he's doing tonight as well.
Yeah, 100%. And it looks like no moves just as of yet coming in from this pack. Now, in the C3s, they're going to be on their final lap here, coming into about a K.5 to go. We'll jump on over there right now. I just want to make sure there weren't any attacks here in the C1s. But Slater here from Arrow to the front, it looks like, no, it's going to be Wilson from NZ Bro, looking to be a little bit of a move in the C3s, 179 beats per minute. Litton here, it looks like, was actually one of the riders who was trying to come across. 180 though from Wilson right now, and this is a 1.5K to go flyer.
This is this is what I would do. I don't have a sprint. I would be going for that early flyer. But look at all those New Zealand flags and all those NZ Bro riders. This is unreal. It's like that whole chase pack is just NZ Bro, and they're riding really well. Looks like Lytton as well is still in that front group, just dangling a touch off the back. But wow, she has had a race tonight. So this is a great way for her to finish off the Classic series. But I think this group may end up catching. Just got them in their sights, and there's some real powerhouses catching up in this group behind Roy, NZ Bro. We've got who else in there? Marsh, Sutherland, Galbraith. These are all big power riders. So I think they'll just let this rider at the front dangle for a little bit longer.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's actually NZ Bro that's bringing him back, though. It looks like, because, I mean, they've been just sitting at 2.6. It's these little push-throughs from the rider Kiklovich, as well as foot traffic there. You know, they've really been pressing at about 4 watts per kilogram with little kicks on the front. So that's really what's shutting it down. It's 1K to go. 1K to go right now in the C3s, and it looks like it's going to be a bunch sprint amongst them for the win in our final of the Zwift Classics, London International out here today. C3 for the New Zealand race out here today for the little bit of a kick. Who's going? Is it Kiklovich? He's the one who...
It's Kiklovich, yep. Dropped an orange number there. I think you've got to drop the orange numbers and then do the ghost, because the ghost doesn't last very long. It's only 10 seconds, and I don't think that's going to be enough, although he is riding 6 watts a kg. Got Allen chasing from behind with Slater from Aero. Good little New Zealand Aussie battle between Aero and NZ Bro, so they won't want to give it away. A lot of power-ups being dropped now in the chase pack behind. I think Kiklovich may get caught here. Look at Kevin Opel, founder of NZ Bro. He is catching up quick.
Opel here, 200 meters to go, 8.2 watts per kilogram, but coming from the row. Oh, it looks like it's going to be Roy Robinson from Dirt, though. Comes out of nowhere. 14 watts per kilogram. Opel's fading. Here comes Roy, but not going to happen. It's going to be the Dirt rider, Robinson. Makes it look almost easy. What a kick coming in from Robinson.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. Back in with the A category, the C1 category, as they make their way over the top of Whitehall for a final time now. Cridlin to the front desk. Carter trying to make something happen. Mashed Potato, Evo now starting to play their cards. They've been holding on to him. Burles is the lead out man, it looks like. And now Mashed Potato over the top of the last second attack, perhaps into the 1.5 to go. But no, he's just making it difficult enough for fade climbing as Daz Carter holds on to his wheel, and it looks like it's Grupo Compacto for the final sprint for the C1s as well.
Oh, wow, that was a good little attack up there. Has it burnt the legs of Mashed Potato too much? It's unlike him to attack off the front this early as he gets swallowed up by the pack again. Has to be a little bit careful here that he manages to stay with the pack. It's so easy to get shot out the back in that situation. But it looks like he's held on pretty well. I don't think there's going to be any attacks from now. I'm kind of keeping an eye on any orange numbers. Someone that's gone off the front, is that McLeod from NZ Bro, Haynes?
I think it's Haynes. It's Haynes, actually. Yeah.
Not enough of you need to have orange numbers to kick away from this group. This is perfect time probably for a ghost if you time it right. But it looks like this group is going to take it all the way to the line. This is where we get to the point, Nathan, where I ask, who's your money on?
Ooh, man. You know, Liam White has been so quiet. I have not seen him stick his... This is so dark horse, so wild card. You know, but in the middle of this race, I didn't actually mention it, but I noticed that Liam had not done anything but just hang on much. We saw him a little bit on the front early on, which told me there was more to him. Nim actually with that, as you said, there's the ghost. There's the ghost. He's gone. He's got 20 meters. Suzuka's now seeing the threat, but that's Suzuka's sprint. Cridlin going 18 watts per kilogram. Cridlin is all in at this moment with an arrow power-up. He's looking to make it happen, and he might have pulled this Scary Mary out of his hat at this point. Are we going to see the walkaway now? Anna, this is it.
Oh, this is it. I'm going for, who am I going for? Suzuka, I think, is catching up. But look at Daz Carter. But I actually think Cridlin's taking this again.
Cridlin!
Oh, wow.
200 meters. 200 meters. Does he have it? 2 seconds and 200 meters. Can you close that down? No way. Oh
No,
my
he's
goodness.
got
I
it. He's
cannot
got
believe
it. Orange
Cridland just
numbers
did that.
still.
What an
Wow.
amazing surprise attack. And he made it happen. Amato comes second. Suzuka for third. The mashed potato gets no gravy on the day. He's got to go for the leftovers under the table. Oh my gosh. Liam White wasn't even nowhere to be seen. Liam, buddy, you got to pull through here. Let's go. Wow.
Oh,
Cridland put on a show.
that was phenomenal. I think this is how it went down. I think we had Nim who dropped that ghost. He knew all he had was that big power number to go a little bit early, didn't have the sprint. It's almost like Cridland knew that that was going to happen, saw that rider disappear and just went for it all in with such a long lead out to that sprint. So amazing Cridland. He held orange numbers pretty much for about 500 meters. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, and you saw the way he kicked. It was like 18 watts per kilogram for a moment there with an aero power up. The gap immediately was like 5 seconds over the top. And I think the crossover to Nim made it seem, because I think they all were like, oh, we'll bring Nim back and then we'll calm down. You know, and that I think that was so well timed with the way that it played out amongst the riders in the pack. Because I think they didn't think that Cridland was the threat actually. And the timing really was what was perfect about it. Let's go ahead and take a
Yeah,
quick
that
look
was
at a replay.
absolutely oh great. I want to see this replay. That was phenomenal. That was some of the best timing I've seen. And to just go in so early, because this is when Nim had just come out of the ghost. He'd not been able to hold those orange numbers. Cridland 16.7 watts a kg straight over the top. That is insane. But look, he managed to hold those orange numbers for so long with Daz Carter chasing on 13.8.
Oh my gosh, 223. I think his heart monitor is busted at this point. But we're seeing comments in chat here, but at this moment, he's got well over 2 seconds over 200 meters as he hits that to-go mark, and there's just no way. The pack's left it way too long to go. Nobody was going to... They would have needed a team lead-out train chasing that down at 10 watts per kilogram to come even close to bringing that back, and that was it. Cross the line.
Shout out to Amato, though. Yeah, good shout out to Amato. I don't know if you saw he came from the field quite far back to take that second place. He was going to be my pick for the win. And he had some really great numbers there and also timed the sprint, like not as well as Cridland, obviously, but he came through the pack really, really well to beat the likes of Mashed Potato, Daz Carter, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. Great job all around. Let's take a quick look here. I do believe we have a replay as well of what went down here with the sprint to the line. It was Kiklevich off the front. Opel came on through from NZ Bro. Amazing kick from him as well. He was one of the favorites, but Robinson coming on through like it was nothing with a solid 14.2.
Yeah, that's pretty. Oh, look at that position too. I love it when the sprinters go in that position where it's just so aerodynamic. They're going absolute full tilt to the line. So great job there from Robinson from dirt. Kiwi rider, but has taken all the NZ Bro riders out in the sprint. But Roy there, he came up so close. He just needed a little bit more tarmac.
Must have a really, really strong affiliation to not go over to the NZ Bro with the New Zealand. After you even said that, I was like, huh, wonder what's going on there. Anyways, all right,
he'll be recruited in the next week.
Cridland takes it down. The Australian upset there, it looks like. Amato coming on through for second. It's going to be Suzuka, the fan favorite from Japan, in for third place. It's Mashed Potato, followed up by Daz Carter. Zito comes on through for sixth. Thamid's there in seventh. Liam White for eighth. And Shibata makes it happen for ninth, followed up by Stevenson, who was very aggressive on the day. I'd say I don't know about if it's our most aggressive rider, but definitely one of the most aggressive. Nim, I think, if we did give anyone the most aggressive, I'd have to give it to Nim out there today, as he continually made those attacks happen.
Yeah, I love the way Nim rode. It's very similar to my own riding style. When you don't have a sprint, you've got to throw every other tool from your toolbox at it. And he knew he had really good 20-minute power. He was good up the climbs. Unfortunately, that little breakaway of 3 just couldn't get beyond the 10-second mark after their little attack on lap 3. But yeah, that was for a race course that can unfortunately get a little bit boring if people stay together. Didn't happen tonight. There was some great little tactics going on. So congrats to all who raced. Looking here at the C3 category, we just saw Robinson in the replay coming across the line in first, Roy in second, Kevin Opel here from NZ Bro in third. That's NZ Bro's second, third actually. Slater in fourth from Australia. Armishaw in fifth. Allen in sixth. Douglas in seventh. Pilgrim in eighth. Pope in ninth. And Kiklovich in 10th.
And a busy. I mean, this was a wild race actually out here today. It was pretty exciting to see just the constant attacks over and over again. It does look like Litton comes on through for first place. Oliver with the chase. Pack able to hold on for second, and Zellweger in third in the C3 category for the women. And that is going to be it, at least for the Zwift Classics New Zealand. If you're looking for any more of the results across all the races, you can over to WTRL.racing. Anna, this has been a ton of fun. I absolutely love that Zwift do these Zwift Classics with WTRL each and every year in the summer. It's really become, this annual thing that people can look forward to, something in the summer to kind of keep you Zwifting, keep your Zwift form, develop some teams, and even maybe poach some riders and figure out some new teams, especially for you down in the lands down under. It seems like you found some talents down there for some Zwift Racing League.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think people forget that the little old New Zealand's in the middle of winter and everyone's out on Zwift. So you can see some kind of hidden gems out there if you just watch some of these classics. The Zwift Racing League, a lot of Europeans, a lot of Americans. But yeah, you tune into these and yeah, I've loved it. I mean, watching the likes of Daz Carter, Mashed Potato, obviously they've kind of been a highlight for me. Watching that C1 category, just doing really well. And Cridlin, of course, has had some stellar performances. And in the women, Britt Lytton, hats off to you, probably the best race of your life on Zwift tonight, making it in that front pack, taking out the women's race over Anthea. So congrats to her as well. And yeah, I'm pretty pumped to see the Zwift Racing League as well. This is going to be, again, like next level. Last year, phenomenal kickoff, and yeah, I just think much more to come.
Preseason coming up, got less than a month. The registration's opening. Let's go, get in here. We see Melissa, Team Vegan. Great to see you, Melissa. Thanks for jumping on in. I see all the comments coming on here. We are proud of Suzuka. Daz jumping in, saying thanks for the broadcast commentaries, Nathan and Anna. All the best with the baby, Anna. Appreciate the comments there. Lots and lots. Cridlin's coming on in. Thanks for the call. Of course, you guys are all awesome. Absolutely love all the viewers and the comments that come on through. Keep them coming. If you are looking for the VOD of this race, it will be on our Twitch, YouTube, as well as Facebook. If you haven't done so, speaking of those, make sure to hit the follow button, subscribe buttons. It really helps the channel. We have pushed up over 10,100 and some over on YouTube. That is kind of our focus right now, is growing on YouTube a little bit more. But we did launch the Kristen Armstrong workout series. If you haven't checked that out, you can check out the replays also on our YouTube. But when it comes to live streaming of those, we do tend to push you towards Twitch. This is a much quicker. If you did notice, there is a delay when it comes to live streaming. The fastest when it comes to no delay is the Twitch stream. They've done a really good job in their back end bringing RTMP streams quickly in, if you did not know that. Obviously, we are going to have the European stream later today, so we'll be doing the East, Central, and Western European as well. We'll most likely be looking also at the C1 and the C3s for those. Anna, that was a lot to go over. We also have WTL TTT coming up on Thursday. That's all the stuff happening this week. Haven't done so, check out World of Zwift. And Anna, are you going to be riding your bike at all over the next couple of weeks, or what's happening? Are we kind of chilling out? I mean, what's your plans going on right now?
I'll always be riding my bike. I think last time I rode my bike a few hours before I went into labor. So I actually went on Twitch and streamed my first Zwift
Anna
Academy
has a Twitch
workout one. I know, I have a Twitch. So see me
What's the handle? What's the handle, Anna? Everybody wants to know now. You and Debbie in shape can do a multi-stream.
I think it's just Anna Zwift. There we go.
There you go. Easy. Yeah, Anna Zwift. It's not whiteboard expert or always wrong about fashion. It's not that.
No way. Always right. So yeah, no, I'll keep Zwifting and I will see you for the Zwift Racing League. I'll be pretty excited about that one, to come back and talk to some adults.
Super, super pumped. Yeah, you're hilarious, Anna. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time. And as always, right on.